Assalamu alaikum students. I am your chemistry teacher of class 9th and again I am teaching you chapter number 4, periodicity of elements. The topic which we are going to study in our lecture number 2 are modern periodic table, groups and period, halogens and transition elements. Students, as you know that there were some defects in Manley's periodic table as we discussed in previous lecture. So, Moseley in 1913 developed a new table called modern periodic table, and its law states that physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic function of their atomic number. Students, focus on that word atomic number. यानी मैनलीफ का periodic table जो बना था वो एटॉमिक वेट की बेसिस पे बना था और मोस्ली का एटॉमिक नंबर की बेसिस पे. Because at that times when Mendeleev was designing the table, isotopes were not discovered and there was no concept of protons. Therefore, modern periodic table is based on more fundamental property, that is atomic number. You can see the modern periodic table. The 8 vertical columns, besides this yellow part in the center, you can count the 8 vertical columns are called groups. There are 8 groups and 7 horizontal rows called periods. Students, the yellow part, highlighted part in the center are transition elements. And at the bottom of the periodic table, there are 14 elements which are called lanthanide series and actinide series. The elements on the right hand side of the periodic table are representative elements, and on the left hand side are also representative elements or main group elements. In the center you are having the transition elements, the all yellow part. Groups and periods. The vertical column of elements in the periodic table are called groups. The horizontal rows of elements in the periodic table are called periods. Periods. There are basically 7 periods. First period contains 2 elements. It is the shortest period. The second and third period are the short periods and they contain 8 elements. The fourth and fifth period are the long periods and they contain 18 elements. The sixth period is the longest period. It contains 32 elements, and the seventh period is called the incomplete period because it is incomplete as to date. About 109 elements have been discovered क्योंकि अभी तक 109 एलिमेंट डिस्कवर हुए हैं और आगे डिस्कवर होते जाएंगे. 6 पीरियड के में ही आपके लेंथेनाइड्स भी शामिल हैं, लेकिन उनको हमने सेपरेटली पीरियोडिक टेबल के नीचे रखा है. इसी तरह से 7 पीरियड में एक्टिनाइड्स शामिल हैं और उनको हमने पीरियोडिक टेबल के नीचे बॉटम में रखा हुआ है सेपरेटली. इसको हम लेंथेनाइड एंड एक्टिनाइड सीरीज कहते हैं. Now I am discussing with you group 1, the alkali metals. The word alkali is derived from an Arabic word meaning ashes. The elements of group 1 are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. Students, you can see in this slide that every element has 1 electron in its valence shell. Lithium 2,1. Sodium electronic configuration is 281. Potassium 2881. So you can see that there is 1 electron in their valence shell. So, properties of group 1. Students, remember this. जिन एलिमेंट्स के वैलेंस शेल यानी आउटर मोस्ट शेल में 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन होता है वो उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज करते हैं और पॉजिटिव चार्ज लेते हैं. नाउ आई एम डिस्कसिंग द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ ग्रुप 1. दे आर मोनोएटॉमिक. दे एग्जिस्ट इन सॉलिड मेटेलिक स्टेट. आउटर मोस्ट शेल ऑफ दिस एलिमेंट्स इज इनकम्प्लीट. Elements of this group are highly reactive. Elements of this group have large tendency to form compounds. Elements of this group are strongly electropositive. Electropositive means the electron lose करते हैं और एक इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करने से इन पे +1 चार्ज आ जाता है. Alkaline earth metals. You can see in that blank periodic table the green highlighted part are of alkaline earth metals. These are elements of group 2. Their members are beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. You can see the electronic configuration of group 2. You can also see that as you go down the group, the size of the elements increases and the number of shells are increases. आप एक चीज़ ऑब्जर्व करें कि इन तमाम एलिमेंट्स की वैलेंस शेल, आखिरी शेल, आउटर मोस्ट शेल में 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं. ग्रुप 2 की प्रॉपर्टीज़ क्या हैं? दे आर मोनो एटॉमिक, दे एग्जिस्ट इन सॉलिड स्टेट. आउटर मोस्ट शेल ऑफ दिस एलिमेंट्स इज इनकम्प्लीट. एलिमेंट्स ऑफ दिस ग्रुप आर मॉडरेटली रिएक्टिव, बहुत ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव नहीं जैसे ग्रुप 1 के थे, मॉडरेटली रिएक्टिव. एलिमेंट्स ऑफ दिस ग्रुप हैव मॉडरेट टेंडेंसी टू फॉर्म कंपाउंड्स. मोनो एटॉमिक क्या होते हैं? वो एलिमेंट्स जो सिंगल एटम के तौर पे रहते हैं वो मोनो एटॉमिक कहलाते हैं. मोनो एंड एटॉमिक, इट इज़ अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ 2 वर्ड्स. इट इज़ यूजुअली अप्लाइड टू गैसेस. नाउ आई एम डिस्कसिंग ग्रुप 3, द बोरॉन और एल्युमिनियम फैमिली. द एलिमेंट्स ऑफ दिस ग्रुप आर बोरॉन, एल्युमिनियम, गैलियम, इंडियम एंड थैलियम. Group 4, the carbon and silicon family. Elements of this group are carbon, silicon, germanium, lead and tin. Group 5, the nitrogen family. Elements of group 5 are called nitrogen family also because nitrogen is the most familiar element and famous for its uses. The elements named are nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Group 6 elements are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. It is also called the oxygen family. Group 7, the most famous, are the halogen family. In group 7, you can see the elements are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and acetylene. Students, remember the red highlighted part on right side of the periodic table are of halogens. Halo means salt and gens means producers. Halogens वो होते हैं जो salt produce करते हैं. Now students, properties of group 7. They are diatomic. Halogens are very active nonmetals. Outermost shell of this elements is incomplete. Elements of this group are highly reactive. At room temperature, fluorine and chlorine are gases. डायटॉमिक, जैसे मैंने आपको मोनोएटॉमिक का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया था, आप डायटॉमिक को देख सकते हैं. 2 एटम जब साथ रहते हैं, एलिमेंट्स जो एग्जिस्ट ही डायटॉमिक फॉर्म में करते हैं वो डायटॉमिक मॉलिक्यूल्स कहलाते हैं. एक से ज़्यादा एटम साथ रहते हैं, जैसे आप देख सकते हैं ऑक्सीजन में, नाइट्रोजन में और हाइड्रोजन में. नाउ सी द ऑरेंज सर्कल पार्ट दैट आर नोबल गैसेस और एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रुप 8. The elements of this group are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Students, remember that their valence shell is complete and they are stable. They have 8 electrons in their valence shell except helium which has 2 electrons and it is completed its duplet. Now students, properties of noble gases. They are monoatomic. They exist in gaseous state. Outermost shell of these elements is either complete or contains 8 electrons. These elements are mostly chemically non-reactive. They are reactive under drastic conditions. Shells of noble gases, you can see their outermost shells are complete. Helium has 2 electrons in its valence shell and it's completing its duplet. And neon, argon, krypton and xenon has 8 electrons in their valence shell and their octets are complete. Transition elements. As I told you that elements in the center of the periodic table, the yellow highlighted part in modern periodic table, as you remember in previous slide, here they are highlighted blue. The elements in between group 2 and group 3 are called transition elements. They form colored compounds. They show variable valency. They show similar behavior. They all are metals. These are some of the properties of transition elements. Conclusion. In this lecture, we studied modern periodic law, groups and periods, and transition metals. Thank you. I hope you understand my lecture. Allah Hafiz.